In the meantime, we got a couple of donation incentives that are going to be coming up in the next couple of runs here. Following this run, we're going to have Quest 64 by my guy Bing Chang, and there are a couple of additional pieces of content that you guys can donate for. We've already met the incentive for the Fargo fight, and there is still another incentive that will happen actually before that in the run to fight Shilf. And then there is an awesome showcase of all the ways that Bing is possibly able to crash the game with a number of glitches. And then after that, we got a Dragon Warrior 2 run with a slew of naming incentives as well as an option to have the final ending song sung. So make sure you guys get your donations in, and while you're doing that, attach them to some of these incentives that we are chasing in the immediacy of the next few runs here. Thanks, guys. And with our last couple of donations that just rolled in, we did in fact just eclipse the $40,000 mark. So good work, everyone. Congratulations to everyone that's been partaking and donating into the marathon and working or running in the marathon. We appreciate all the support. Thank you guys so much. Okay, we got some more donations rolling in here. We've got $10 donation from Zero Hero that says, "Crushing it, Chaos. Keep it up." Again, congrats to Chaos and his awesome no ACE run of Wild Arms. Fantastic PS1 RPG. $25 from Cinder that says, "Cheers to all the volunteers. This event couldn't happen without y'all." We have a $20 donation from Reiko Dactylus. It says, "Good luck, Chaos. If an apple a day keeps the doctor away, how long will it be before Wild Arms Party ever see a doctor again?" All right, and with that, we are ready to get rolling with the Dragon Warrior 2 TASBot plays speedrun by TheAxeMan with some fantastic people on the couch. You guys are really in for a treat with this one. Whenever you guys are ready, take it away.
I am TheAxeMan. I'm the author of this task, and I'm a friend of TASBot that has gotten TASBot into RPGs. And I've been bringing TASBot the last 2 RPG limit breaks here. And today we have a task of Dragon Warrior 2. And so I brought in a couple experts on this game. We have Sumdiener.
Hi, my name's Sumdiener. I'm a runner of Dragon Warrior 2, Dragon Quest 2 RTA. I have not actually seen this task yet, so I'm hoping to be pleasantly surprised by how much different it looks than what I'm used to.
Yeah, and I'm Shiner CCC. I've finished Dragon Warrior 2 casually at least 3 times. The NES version twice, Game Boy Color version once. I'm learning the speedrun, the Seedlock route actually, which starring UHKD. But that's not going to be the star of this task. This will definitely be a completely different route. I reviewed the task while here and just loved it. I was pleasantly surprised to see how new it was and how it was a marked improvement over the old one. I know the TheAxeMan is a prolific tasser, made tasks for a lot of RPGs. Got a better one for us, and it was deferred till now. We finally get to see it on the stage.
Yep,
That's
I'm
right,
excited.
yeah. So I should make a quick introduction of TASBot, just in case anyone hasn't seen TASBot or seen a task before. So this is TASBot. He is a robot that plays games at events. He has been remade from his previous body, and this body has been made by with 3D printing from many generous people in our community. He is holding a replay device. So in TASBot's head is a Raspberry Pi that is running a full Linux install. Mm-hmm. And so that Raspberry Pi is connected with a USB to this device here, which has some electronics that interface with the controller port. And we'll also be able to see on this visualization board what he's pressing. And the task itself is a series of inputs that you can think of like a piano roll.
Yeah, player piano.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
so it turns out the emulators now are so good that we can play in an emulator. So I made the task in an emulator using re-recording technology. And when you play it through all the way, you actually start with a determinate state and everything is known. And so you can actually have this perfect playthrough. Or I guess there are many things you can do with this.
Yeah.
But one of them is to create a speed run that is just really good. Better than probably a human is going to be able to do.
Probably.
Yeah,
Probably,
We're,
yeah.
we're about to do a tool-assisted speedrun, basically looking into the future for the good outcomes, the good RNG. We're looking at memory to know everything that's going to happen. If anything goes awry, we can rewind, load the state, and present this perfect piano roll of input. We're going to play the game from a fresh power cycle. Turns out your name is the only seed for initial RNG, I think.
Yeah.
So, if we just go from a fresh power cycle, like a hard reset, fresh power on, exactly what we want to see should happen here today.
That's right. And I should point out, this is a real NES.
Yeah.
It has a real Dragon Warrior 2 cartridge in it. And so this is not an emulator. This is real hardware with real hardware connecting to it.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah. So if we're all ready, I'll get started here. All right. All right.
Okay, ready?
All
on
right, let's
timer.
go.
Okay. So we picked the name W because it seeds the RNG, but that's, we don't really need any particular RNG. TASBot can handle, he can cope with different RNGs as long as we know where it is. What the real advantage is, it's only one character, so we're only displaying the names one character at a time, a little faster. And the names, the random names for the second two party members are chosen based on the first one. There's some RNG there. And so we'll get the shortest names for them.
Ah.
Yeah, we're gonna get Lars and Roz. And yeah, as you can see, the letters are printed out one character per one frame. So the shorter names we have, we'll save more frames that way. This game is indeed a direct sequel to Dragon Warrior for the NES. The descendants of our big blue meathead have spread out and founded other kingdoms in farther lands than Elfgard. And now the evil wizard Hargon has come to attack the kingdom of Moonbrook with his forces. So the king and his daughter, the princess of Moonbrook, or Moonchan as we might call her, especially in Diener's run, are in the courtyard, and the long years of peace have ended suddenly. And this king is a decent fighter. He can beat these little demon goons with a normal attack.
They're all descendants of Erdrick, so
That's right.
They can fight.
They're, I guess they're all cousins or something, right?
Yeah.
So this castle is getting sacked, but there's a brave messenger will try and make it to call for help.
Yeah, this scene is not in the Famicom initial release of Dragon Quest II. It was added for Dragon Warrior 2 for the English release. So we get a little more exposition. The king is dead. Long live the king.
Oh no. That was normal. That was supposed to happen.
Yes.
Yeah. Remember, everything that happens, TASBot has allowed to happen. There are no mistakes. This is a tool-assisted speedrun. This is to go the level beyond human. Oh, this guy's got some magic. Took out two of those guards at once. Oh, took a hit.
So I should make a shout out to the actual.
Nice
So we have two different communities here with tool-assisted speedrunning. The first one is TAS Videos, and our website is tasvideos.org. I am an ambassador of that, along with Dwango AC, who is still the official keeper of TASBot. And he also has his own community of TASBot and all sorts of related things. And really, our TASBot community is focused on bringing TASBot and doing other tasks at events like this. And you may have seen Dwango at some small events doing different things with tasks.
Ooh. This guy made it a long way from Moonbrook to Maidenhall. We call it the marathon in our world. They call it the marathon here. He ran a long way to barely make it here and deliver tidings that Moonbrook has been sacked. Yeah, Moonbrook has been sacked by Hargon. And here we have our blue meathead, our other descendant of Erdrick.
W.
Ready to start the game and save the day. We don't have control yet. We got to advance a little more text boxes. And his doom is thine. I love the
That's right.
dialect in this game.
Yeah, the dialogue is just so fantastic.
Yeah, they went.
They went full Shakespeare. Yeah, there are others in Canuck and Moonbrook, also of Erdrick's line, who will help thee. So, Dragon Warrior 1, you only get one character who, just a blue guy who looks like this, who starts out just with no magic, but learns some. This guy also starts with 0 MP and finishes with 0 MP. He is truly just a meathead. He's probably one of the best physical attackers in the entire Dragon Quest series, though. Oh, wait, he threw away his copper sword. Okay, never mind. He's still really good at attacking, don't worry.
That's right. We'll probably get a better sword before we actually have to fight anything.
Hopefully.
No encounters yet. Pretty good luck, am I right? Oh, we gotta open the menu. So yeah, Axeman, tell us about manipulating RNG, please.
That's right. So normally we would have seen a whole bunch of like slimes and what are
slugs,
slugs. That's right, slugs, drackies.
Mm-hmm.
They would have been popping up left and right here. But instead, we have manipulated all of them away, and we'll just be seeing. We'll be going right to where we want to go. The way we manipulate away the encounters is so we have two different things we can do. One is to sort of just do the stutter step, and when we do that, the RNG cycles, but it doesn't check for another battle. So if we have sort of the RNG value that's going to give us a random encounter, then it'll pass through without kind of checking that, and we'll actually be able to keep going on. The other way is to bring up the menu, and when your cursor is waiting for something to do in the menu, the RNG keeps cycling every frame. And so the 16 frame, so we have to stop for 16 frames every pause there, yeah, because that's how long it takes to do a step.
Mm-hmm.
And when you do that, it cycles the RNG by 16 frames. Normally, every step, it actually uses it uses two different RNGs. It grabs one RNG and throws it away, and it grabs another one, and it checks to see if you're over the threshold to get a random encounter. So it's sort of every other frame. And then at 16 frames, it just throws one RNG away every frame while you're stopped there. And so you notice they're both even numbers. So if we want to get sort of on a different parity, we actually have to open up that menu. Of course, we can also take advantage of dialogue and just wait before we okay a dialogue, and that will also give us the more precise manipulation. For example, suppose we want to encounter a certain enemy that will be able to attack us for a higher amount of damage and get us our first warp here a little easier. And this is, of course, why we came to this castle.
Yeah, we're back at Canuck. We have to advance the plot here. We're looking for the prince, and it's like, oh, he's on a journey to the Spring of Bravery.
Yeah.
And then we go there, and it's like, oh, he just left. So the wild goose chase continues.
The other thing I noticed is that when we got that encounter, it was only one step to get it, too. We had the minimum amount of time we needed to.
That's right, yeah.
No delay.
Yeah, taking another step would have been...
Well, time we don't have to spend.
That's right.
Oh, there he is. He's in the inn. We finally caught up with him in this town of Leftwyn.
Prince Lars
also
of Canuck.
Also the shopping we did. We sold the leather armor. With the 50 gold we started with and selling the leather armor for 113, that gives us just over 160 to buy 2 wings. This is the farthest flung in this Dragon Quest timeline, and inflation's getting bad, magic is getting wild, things are just decaying as badly as Dark Souls all over the place. Wings cost 80 and only go to the last place you saved, but that's still really handy for moving around in the TAS realm here.
So there's an interesting thing that happened when we threw away, or when we sold off our leather armor, because the game doesn't actually update the status of the hero's offense and defense stats. It only updates them at certain points, like when you actually go to your equip menu or when you level up. And so since we didn't do any of those, we actually still have the defense from the leather armor, which is actually kind of annoying because what we actually want to do is take these death warps. And we're going to take some extra. We're not going to take as much damage because the game still thinks we have the armor equipped.
So walking through the swamp was actually a turbo boost.
Yep.
Setting up our death by Exaxes from Big Cobra.
So we got a lottery ticket earlier, and we're going to play the lottery. And what do you think TASBot's odds here are?
Getting moons as quickly as possible, by the way.
Nice.
So sometimes you play the lottery, and your odds of So your odds of getting a lottery ticket are actually pretty good. They're 1 in 4. But the odds of getting something out of the lottery is much, much lower.
Are very bad, yes.
Yeah. And, you'd think that if you just get good enough at knowing the order of the crest and the reels, you could time it right. No. The time that the reels take to stop is random. And so you're not going to get it even if your timing is real good.
They might stop quickly. They might scroll a bit farther.
Yeah. And of course, since we want to get through this, we have the reels stop faster, and the spot that we want to get a wizard's wand.
Just for selling. It's a good item or a good weapon, and it casts a fireball spell in battle. We're going to do neither of those things. We're just going to sell it for capital for stuff we need.
That's right.
2 steps. Okay, we have to go to this swamp to get the Mirror of Ra, a mirror that reveals the true form of things. Oh, we also need to set up some damage.
Yep.
Taking a little extra damage here.
Okay, winging back to... I forgot the name of this town. No, we're not going back in.
Hamlin,
Yeah,
yep.
Hamlin. So yeah, this area has a lot of rivers and bridges. It's very difficult to navigate.
So we've got a pretty good walk here to a tower we're going to climb and get something we need. So it's not a bad time for some something if the host has anything.
Yeah, true.
All right, we got a couple of donations that people have rolled in for you all. We got $10 from Geister Carl that says, more TASBot, more TASBot. We got $30 donation from Coder Wilson that says, good luck, Axeman.
Thank
May
you.
you absorb all the good luck that we were missing on Monday. And for TASBot, you got this, little buddy. Put this donation towards Knights of the Republic 2 incentive, naming the main character Cupcake, Justice for Kuo.
Justice
nice.
for cool.
Got a $10 donation from Count Zero Or. It says, let's see that Quest 64 crash showcase. And a $245.01 donation from one Alta Biscuit that says, how about 3 character Primrose?
All right, up in this tower, we're looking for an accessory called the Cloak of Wind, a feature that has never been featured in another Dragon Quest game since because it's very nearly useless. As you can see, there's no guardrails on this tower. We could just jump off the edge. We'll be okay, but normally you just appear one tile beside. But with the Cloak of Wind, we're able to glide and go farther, and this is required to go to a river that has a tower on each side and jump to the other side.
Yeah, proceeding from Hamlin to the next town. We'll need this item here at the Cloak of Wind.
If you play the Japanese version, they describe the action of the Cloak of Wind as being like a Japanese flying squirrel.
Oh, nice damage rolls on Fireball there. Thanks, Magicians. We still have that leather armor for defense, and
but it doesn't affect magic damage, so...
Yep. Magic in these old games is a fixed range. I think like 10 to 18 on Fireball.
It's a pretty high range, which is why it was useful for that particular warp.
It's stronger than Blaze in Dragon Warrior 3 and 4 in the NES. Like I said, Black Magic's getting volatile in this future timeline. Also, we use the Mirror of Ra on Moonshan, who is trapped in a furry form, but no longer.
That's right. We've released her from her furry form.
Yep.
And reached our 3rd party member.
Mm-hmm.
A star player in the previous task of what, 14 years ago?
Yeah.
She's not just a black mage. She starts with heal more and has like all sorts of good utility magic. So there's certainly some advantage to using Princess Moonbrook, but this task will forego Princess Moonbrook and only save 90 seconds or so. Kind of a testament to how useful Princess Moon is.
Yes. So yeah, she has some useful attack magic. She has the most powerful healing magic. She's sort of the most useful magic person, and the magic can be useful. Probably a little more though if you actually need to heal.
Speaking of magic, what's this? Metaru.
Oh.
So this is going to be our first real battle here.
4 damage, not enough. Nice Exacxies on Rose, and waiting a little bit. Yeah, we picked a slow message speed, by the way. Text will only advance when we press a button, which allows us to wait for however many frames looking for the optimal RNG outcome here.
Yeah.
So we not only got the 135 experience, which is really a paltry amount. Metal Slimes give at least 1,000 in the other games. I think they give 135 in the first game. Things were not balanced back then. This is from like the early Wild West days of RPGs when the math was really figured out. But we also got the Iron Helmet.
Yeah, I noticed it.
Good defensive gear, theoretically, but we're actually just going to sell
You're
it.
going to sell it, aren't you?
Oh,
yeah, I knew it.
Yeah. So, we've got the Wizard Wand that we got from the lottery, and we picked up the Iron Helmet from that Metal Slime there. And so that's going to give us some pretty good seed money for a couple items that we'll need to get through this run.
And every bit of experience on our meathead W helps as well.
That's right,
Mostly for
yeah.
a bigger HP pool, but I think we're going to finish at level 14.
Yeah. So we were on level
Fairly
1.
rich.
So one metal slime with starting from nothing was worth a few levels, and we'll get some extra attack power that'll be useful when we actually have to fight something a little meatier than a metal slime here.
Yeah, the critical hits in this game ignore defense power, and they just use your raw attack power to roll a range of damage, which is pretty wide, but even level 1 is not going to be enough to work with.
And by the way, this is going to be a solo run from now on. We've got only Big Blue W here is going to continue on. We're going to leave the other 2 characters walking around as ghosts.
Yeah, they're not even going to be useful as pack mules because this is an NES game where the letters are printed out one at a time and the interface is so meticulous, right? It's like, W gives something from Lars's ghost and gives it to Rose's ghost. Like, we're going to keep W's inventory nice and clean. He's only got 8 item slots. There's no bag. We only got 8 registers for remembering our inventory. So we'll try not to give anything to the others.
We can move things to and from the ghost. And interestingly, in the Japanese version, instead of ghosts, they're coffins.
Mm-hmm.
And so it actually tells you you're putting items in the coffin or taking it out of their coffin, which is kind of a little creepy.
Yeah, what coffin? I don't see anything.
Yeah, well,
Weapon upgrade. Got a broadsword.
That's right. We picked up a broadsword. We sold our equipment. We bought a broadsword. We're going to equip it.
Plus 30. Very nice.
Yeah. And so now we have an actual fight here.
Ooh, gremlins. So far, no gremlins for TASBot either. Everything working good so far.
That's right.
They can hit us, and they will kill us. 10 HP is not a lot, so we're going to make them cast sleep and have it whiff. No Dragon's Bane accessory necessary. We'll just take the odds.
Mm-hmm.
So every random encounter, when you meet
and a
enemies...
bonus wing. Nice.
Yeah. So it's a little faster to get a Wing of Wyvern from a drop than to buy it. Yeah, so we're going to... Anytime we can get it as a drop, which we'll actually fight more gremlins later, and we'll also get the drop there, because we need a lot of these wings. I was going to say, every time we get a fight, when the enemies show up, there's a random factor in their HP. So they basically have a maximum HP amount, and it can go down by as much as 25%. So in order to get that one-shot kill, we actually needed to get a pretty low roll on their HP and a high critical hit value. So that was a pretty low odds fight. Yeah, we got to level up, so it'll be a little easier the next time, and a little easier the next time after that, but it's still pretty low.
Yeah, the waits were pretty long there to get all the outcomes we needed. Low HP, high damage roll, sleep whiff. Got it to work, though. Good job, TASBot.
But that got us a ship, which opens up quite a bit of the world here.
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna go pick up an item that is a very important item that for some reason is just sitting on the grass in this town in the middle of on a small island in the middle of nowhere.
Yep, tiny fishing village of Zahan. And here's the golden key that opens the vast majority of the doors in the game.
And we walk in a certain way so that we don't get the dog. The dog will, if you come close, the dog will sort of go yip yip yip, and it'll point you to where the key is.
Mm-hmm.
But we walked in a certain way so that he didn't get close enough to see anything.
We didn't have to worry about that. Yeah.
We know where this is. We're TASBot.
No, we also need to get this sun crest here. The sun crest is not an item that goes in the inventory. They just appear as little icons on your status menu. But we need to find 6 of them in order to finish the game.
5 of them. There are 5.
Five?
5 seals, right?
Uh-oh, I'm exposed.
Let's see.
Sun, moon, star, water, and life.
Okay.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Okay, so we're parked our ship, going into the town of Welgarth, and the key that we found opens this door conveniently. Mm-hmm. And here we're gonna use a little more of our money to go to the shop and buy
a mystery item.
A mystery item.
Nothing.
A bit expensive, maybe.
Worth though.
2,000 gold.
Yeah.
Also get another wing. Gotta have wings. Gotta be able to travel around. Oh, we also need 2 medical herbs for reasons.
Yeah.
Even though we can avoid damage from battles, there are other ways to take damage.
There's one more thing we need in this town, and it's going to be in the jail. So this thief stole something, but he didn't get very far. In fact, he's tunneling through the wall. He's on the other side of the wall there. You can actually go through there, but we're going to avoid the transition.
Oh, I didn't know you could speak to him from that side.
Yeah.
That's cute.
Yeah, I think he's in a little 2x1 thing, and maybe we got lucky and got him to walk down one tile.
He doesn't actually move. He's always there. You've got to be at a certain spot, and you can talk to him from the other side. Yeah.
Okay.
So the item that we bought that was on the empty spot in the menu or in the item shop list, that was the jailer's key. So now we can open these jail doors.
And
And
with these Oswargs, they're more tanky gremlins, similar moveset.
Bigger gremlins.
Yeah.
that's right, yeah. So this fight was kind of even more clutch because they have higher HP, higher defense, more annoying moves, and so we had to manipulate even lower, HP and even higher crit values. But we were able to do it.
Using a wing to go from Hamelin to Hamelin because it's faster than actually walking outside.
The wings are almost always faster.
Yeah.
It takes a little while to buy them from the item shop, but once you use them, it's pretty fast.
Well, you move about as fast as Simon Belmont in this game, so I declare worth.
So we just passed by the edge of Alefgard, which is sort of this copy of the original Alefgard of Dragon Warrior 1.
It's smaller scale, though. There's less landmass. There's definitely been rising sea levels in this decaying world of Dragon Warrior 2. The world map is like 80% ocean, and there's no markers to navigate your way around.
There's a few things in there. I mean, you can go to Tanagel Castle. At that shrine that you saw where you get the rainbow drop in the first game, you can go there and get the helmet of Erdrick, which is pretty nice, but we don't really need it.
Can't sell it either, I don't think.
And then you can also go to the Dragon Lord's castle and go through the dungeon and meet the Dragon Lord's son, who says, "No,
He says something really funny.
Yeah.
He's like, I rule this world like my father did. I care not for Hargon. Will you beat him for me?" He says something like that.
Yeah. So this is going to be another long tower if the host has anything for us.
Sure do. Got a couple of donations here. We got a $10 donation from an anonymous donator with no comment. We also have a $10 donation from Jobber with no comment. An anonymous $100 donation with no comment. And then we got a couple of donations lingering from the last run. We got $50 from Dead Link that says, "Let's go Primrose," and a $100 donation from Definitely Not Jello that says, "Spout all the pretty words you like. You know the truth. She will never again know the happiness she once did. Why do you rob your sister of the hope I offer her? What else does she have but that futile wish?" Thank you all so much for your donations. Just a reminder, our next run, which is the Quest 64 run, still has 2 incentives that are trying to be met. We are $235 away from the first bonus fight chronologically in that, which is the Shield fight. So get your donations in for that. Thank you all so much.
Yeah, thank you.
So at the top of this tower, we meet this, it looked like it was a gremlin, but then we walked in there and it's this old man who's not mysterious or who's not sketchy at all. So he says he's got something for us and just to follow him, so we might as well.
While avoiding encounters, by the way.
That's right, yeah, you can still get encounters here, but we'll just keep manipulating those away.
Yeah, TASBot doesn't get encounters. Must be nice.
Yeah.
It sure is. Open the treasure chest. Sure, why don't I?
Yeah, why not?
Aha, into my trap thou hast stepped.
How could we have guessed? It was a trap. And of course, so
Into
with a
your trap?
we were
TASBot is
ambushed.
like, into my trap.
Yes, because
I'm
the
going to ambush
gremlins-
you in
But
your
they
own
didn't
ambush.
see you.
So you can actually get that on every single fight, including the final boss.
Very important to get it here, though, because there's 4 gremlins. We have to roll for all of them to use sleep, and for us to never fall asleep, and for all their HP to be low enough, and for our crits to do enough damage. So eliminating the first one without issue ends up saving a lot of frames of looking for ideal outcomes.
Yeah. Perfect fight.
And perfect drop, another wing.
Yep.
Faster than haggling in town.
And some level ups, too.
Just 1, I think. The experience output in this game is really low. Whoa, power increased by 9. That's a
Wow.
good level up.
So the level ups are the same. There's no RNG on the level ups. They're the same every time, no matter what your name is or any RNG factors.
Even more static than Dragon Warrior 1, where your stats are influenced by your name.
Mm-hmm.
Well, just your starting stats, actually. All the level ups are the same in Dragon Warrior 1. now we're back in this shrine. Turns out there was a golden key in the darkness here, and we can access a vast transportation network of portals. I think Wing of Wyverns are too expensive for your average peasant wages, but you can get around with these portals.
Very convenient, and sometimes. You saw the portals when we went into that fire shrine where we got the sun crest. And, but this was the only one that we're actually, that's actually going to be useful, because it's going to let us get to this town. It's going to be it's going to become our base for the rest of the game.
Yeah, the coast of this place is very hard to access. It's easier to get here through the shrine network. And urban design was not very good in this era either. Look at this narrow causeway with people walking all over. We're having to manipulate RNG just to get to the priest and save our game.
As usual with a lot of these older games, the RNG for the townspeople walking around is like even worse than the RNG for the battles. I mean, that's the real fight.
It looked pretty clean. No need to stutter step or anything. It was probably manipulated far in advance.
We're going to use, actually, so we need to use the wings mainly because we need the ship here. So using the wings or taking a death will reset where the ship is. And with that, we'll be able to get back on the ship and sail to our next destination.
There's always a big bad in these games, and they seem to have very scary, powerful magic, but I can't imagine magic more powerful that can just summon a boat to anywhere in the world. We're truly stronger than evil in this game.
I mean, we're not even really casting the magic. We're just throwing some Wings of the Wyvern in the air.
Yeah, we're just using consumer-grade transportation material.
And, I mean, in theory, Hargon has all these wyverns working for them. It seems like they could, just ask them for some of their wings.
You'd think the economy would crash. Well, there actually is no wyvern enemies in this game. They were in the first game.
Right,
they reappear in Dragon Warrior 3, but not in 2 or 4, so...
Yeah.
Price is high in this game. Next,
Maybe
we're sailing up
maybe
the...
that's why, yeah.
We're sailing up the river to this village of Toon. You see those 3 sand tiles over there? The river has dried up because they have installed a dam, and Roge Fastfinger, that guy in Welgar, stole the Watergate key, so we're finally going to fix their dam, restore the waterway on the river here. Also, we're going to shop for some wings in this town in particular, just because they don't have herbs for sale, and that means that Wing of Wyvern is the top option, which means we can save frames, not having to move the cursor down.
The other thing we save frames on is that we've got a little more room in the in W's item menu, and so he's able to hold some more items. So because we go to the shop again, we can get items to him where we can actually use them instead of having to give them to someone else and transfer it later.
Wait, we just gave one of the wings to Lars, but he's dead. Did we get a desync? Did TASBot make a mistake?
No, TASBot does not make mistakes.
TASBot doesn't make mistakes.
Yeah,
okay,
well,
right.
Clearly, it's one of these Galaxy Brain plays that will pay off later. TASBot loves doing that. We open the Watergate. Then we come back around. We're going to have to sail through there. There's an island with another tower that we're going to have to climb. This tower is actually a little shorter, but yeah, we're going to have to sail our ship all the way in there.
Yeah, sailing in this game is nice. The encounter rate is lower. Yeah, I don't remember all
Looks
the
the same to me.
Yeah, I mean, there was like one stop along the way. You probably saw we had to stop a little more on the mountains. Much like Dragon Warrior 1, encounter rates are higher on different kinds of terrain. Mountains for sure have a higher encounter rate. I think scrub forests and grasslands are safer. Ocean is like only 4, I think, but...
That's right, yeah.
This game, yeah, and the towers here, like that mesh grid there is supposed to symbolize a roof, I think. You're kind of like heading into a shaded area, so that's why it's like not loading all the terrain at once. I guess they were kind of copying Ultima, like Ultima Exodus for NES had kind of vision or like lighting effects like that. But coming out from under a ceiling like that, I think it like rolls from 0 to 255 to see if you get an encounter, and if it rolls under a certain value, you get an encounter. So I think Ocean is 4, but I think it was 83 according to the comments.
Yeah.
Coming out from under a ceiling, you're very, very likely to get an encounter that way. I know Dragon Warrior 4 runners like step back and forth underneath ceilings like that when trying to grind, when looking for encounters on purpose, and it's still a thing in this game too.
So we pick up the moon fragment.
Yeah, for controlling the tides, just like in real life. We need that to get into a volcano cave surrounded by shallow shoals that we can't drive the boat over.
So earlier in the game, I put a lot of effort into finding an encounter that can kill us efficiently so that we didn't have to walk on the swamp tiles so much to drain our HP. But once we get here, like, it's so easy to take a death.
The enemies from this point in the game
Pretty
are probably going to
pretty
have
much
no
any
problems
enemy.
killing us.
I think in a casual run, you'd be around level 18 or 20 by this point. I mean, it depends. It really depends. Like, if you have a guide and know where to go, maybe you'll be lower, but it's really easy to get lost, and every single encounter in this game is quite vicious. We'll see how that plays out in Diener's run later.
Yeah.
No need to get into it in the realm of tasks where we only fight when we wish to.
Exactly.
Yeah. When they were actually creating this game, they got the game all together, and then they started playtesting it, and they didn't have quite enough time.
Yeah.
And they realized a little too late that it was a little too hard, a little too grindy at some point. So they fixed the beginning. The main way they fixed it was that starting continent is really huge, and they had intended to put Canuck all the way at the other end of the continent, which would make a little more sense that these two castles would be a little further apart.
Further away.
Have
yes.
coastal trade.
Yeah, and so they realized this game was a little too hard, so they moved all three starting towns pretty close to each other, and that made the beginning game a little easier. They didn't quite get to the end game, and so kind of at this point it just keeps getting a little even harder and grindier. There's all sorts of glitches to get around this that TASBot just doesn't need. And, maybe the initial developers were, like, programming this with TASBot in mind. I don't know.
Yeah, this volcano cave, these lava tiles look dangerous. I know in Ultimate Exodus you get fried real quick, but they're actually weaker than swamp tiles. They only do 1 damage instead of 2. Environmental pollutants are just out of control in Dragon Warrior 2. Also kind of convenient for making our HP low for the upcoming Death Warp. So funny, you fought 1 evil clown for our Death Warp to die instantly in 1 hit. Now we're going to fight 2 of them on purpose as a mandatory little mini boss fight.
Yeah, this time we actually have to win.
Oh, taking 21.
So you can run from most boss fights, but, it won't get you anywhere. Something pointless will happen, like you might reset. Yeah, it'll kick you back, or it'll reset something, and you can just reset the area or something like that. But you won't get. They made sure that you won't get progress out of it.
Wow, we beat 2 evil clowns. We're getting pretty strong.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see what's next. Okay, 2 Mega Knights, 1 Metal Hunter, and 1 Dragonfly. Okay, we can take out the Dragonfly maybe. Okay, never mind. We're out of here. We're Death Warping.
Yeah.
Seems like a bit much for W to handle by himself.
Not at this level. Yeah, I guess even if you're at a pretty high level, like that fight,
that's still a lot of enemies.
Even with a proper trio, you'd probably get wrecked. Those metal hunters are serious business. Oh yeah, now we're on these mega barrier tiles that they added in Dragon Warrior 2 that do 30 damage with every step.
Yeah.
So we need our medical herbs just to survive walking over them.
We have 58 max HP, so not quite enough to get past there.
And now we're going to use that Eye of Malroth that we got from the Volcano Cave, which if you use in this rather asymmetrical-looking swamp, we can actually open the infamous Road to Rhone. Rhone being a large mountain plateau at the top of a massive peak. This game started a tradition for the Dragon Quest series of having a really long cave with lots of dangerous enemies and lots of good gear that's so incredibly long it might as well feel like a final boss battle. This basement here is called the Hork Pit. It has an extremely high encounter rate, and the only enemies are Horks, which have a lot of HP and a poison hit, but that's why we had to walk pretty slow, even for task standards, just avoiding encounters. Yeah, we need the life crest, but we have to backtrack at some point and turn our crests into Rubus the Enchanter in order to finish the game. So this isn't actually like a one-way trip all the way to the end. We're going to go out of our way over here to get the Armor of Erdrick, which has the same effect it did in the first game of protecting its wearer from all damage tiles. So it's way better than the alternative of like trying to fill our inventory with enough herbs or having Princess Moonbrook alive to keep healing us and opening the menu to cast heal more one spell at a time and like getting the reports printed out one letter at a time. Now we're just going to get the Armor of Erdrick.
That's right. There's going to be a lot of barrier tiles later on, aren't there?
Yeah, in Hargon's castle.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And instead of walking all the way out to get back on track, we'll Death Warp and take care of our errands here. So I believe we have 4 crests. We have to find 1 more.
Yes. The entrance to that area is right by Biren, where we can take the teleporter. And now that we've got Erdrick's armor, we can go over all of those damage tiles without having to heal or anything. So it's pretty easy to get back to where we were. There's going to be some sort of backtracking one way or another. So this was the easiest one. it's also possible to go all the way through and then take a warp from the Rhone plateau and then come back. But this way, we don't even have to visit that shrine.
See what I mean about sailing in this game? It's just blue all the way around. We see one island to go a little further west, then go straight north. And we're going to arrive exactly on course at the mouth of the river to the somewhat barbaric kingdom of Osterfair, where there is nothing to do on this savage island except fight the King's Saber Lion for his entertainment in order to receive the last crest as a reward. So thanks to the armor of Erdrick, the Saber Lion is pretty powerful, but the armor of Erdrick gives us enough defense power that we can just tank a hit and not even have to like search for some kind of really clutch outcome to barely survive. We can just let the Saber Lion swing, and then we win in a single excellent move.
So the Saber Lion has a really high agility. He avoids your attacks at a higher rate, so it's particularly hard to get
Nice
a
damage.
nice, strong hit here.
Looks good.
So by taking out this Saber Lion,
Oh,
we
nice.
are...
Nipping that guy out of the way. Quit showing off, TASBot.
So we've got all 5 crests now, and I see it's routed so that we're pretty close to Rubus's shrine to turn them in.
That's right. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, this is the best way to...
Mm-hmm.
The geography
this.
is great for this run. We're very close to Rubus's little offshore oil drilling rig that goes straight down to the ocean floor.
Yep. If we see him in a prequel, we'll say hi and thank him.
For letting this task go off. I believe we're going to have time for a message from our hosts as we chat with Rubus and receive the charm of Rubus as a reward.
Yes, and we'll be backtracking back through the cave, and which will take a while. So yeah, it's another great time for anything the host has for us.
All right, well, I actually have one of the kindest comments that you could possibly imagine in the form of a $10 donation from The High Spirits that says, TASBot is the most adorable speedrunner. I'd say good luck, TASBot, but the best make their own luck. Good luck to you later tonight, Diener, on your DW2 run. If you're unaware, Dean is going to be doing Dragon Warrior 2 in about 2 hours after this run following the Quest 64 run, so make sure you all check that out.
Yeah,
You
thanks,
can
High
see him be
Spirits.
doing that.
Thanks so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, another prolific Dragon Quest runner.
Yeah, absolutely. And a good friend of mine, so happy to hear from you, buddy. Yep, I'll be playing actually not this version, but the Game Boy Color version,
Yeah,
which is going to be functionally a little different, but also it's going to be an RTA where, yes, we are going to have to fight random monsters.
Yeah, this version is much harsher than the Game Boy Color version. Having played both, I can say, yeah, Ooh, this one's only for masochists. This one and 7 are the hardest in the series.
Yeah.
Although I will say I am massively jealous of this encounter rate.
Yeah, the road to Rhone has lots of perils and hazards on every floor. Like the floor we just came from is like a Lost Woods maze where it's like repeating rooms and you have to figure out where the stairs up are. This room is just covered in pitfalls that send you into a giant room that takes so long to climb out of, and you actually appear at like the far end of it, and it's even harder to get out of there. Now here's another Lost Woods maze. If you go the wrong way even once, you go back to that first room where the stairs are.
Yeah, as trying to navigate through this dungeon, if you
What's
don't...
this?
So we're taking a fight with a green dragon, and the fight against one green dragon is actually extremely rare. They almost always come in huge packs.
Big groups, yep.
And they have a relatively rare drop, the Sword of Destruction.
3.1% chance, I believe your comment
Yes.
said.
And, you know, there's another enemy that drops it, and if you're doing a regular speed run, you're probably going to get it from a green giant.
Yeah.
And the green giants have a much higher rate of dropping them, and you're probably going to be grinding them for quite a while in order to get experience, for one thing. And so eventually, you're probably going to get the sword from them. Maybe more than one.
But
Sometimes.
they have so much HP that I think they would survive 2 crits.
Exactly.
At this level.
So at this point, with only our broadsword, we would take a few rounds to go against one of them. So since it's no problem for us to get one green dragon, an encounter that's probably only like a less than 1% chance, and then on top of that, the 3.1% to get the drop. Since TASBot can do that, that's the way we do it.
So at last we're here in the final field of the game, the snow-covered plateau of Rhone, where Hargon's castle is. There's a shrine off to the east where we can save the game and make it our return point and revive all our characters. But this is TASBot knows what's up. We don't need any of that. It's out of the way.
That's
We're
right.
We can just challenge Hargon. We got the Sword of Destruction now. We got the most powerful sword in the game. It is,
Yes.
however, cursed. The curse will make it so you have some amount of chance to lose your turn. Do you know what the odds are, Axeman?
It's pretty. I don't know, like not that high. Maybe 1 in 4 or something like that.
I think that sounds
That
right.
sounds about right.
Yeah.
Of course, we can manipulate that away.
That's right. TASBot's not going to get hit by this curse. But we did actually take on the curse. There's actually a glitch where you can easily avoid the curse just by equipping it in this area, and then before using the charm, and then you can get the power of the Sword of Destruction without the curse. However, the curse has a side effect that also increases your critical hit rate, which is much more useful than having to worry about the
Negative side effects.
That'll
Yeah.
save frames for us. And for some reason, we use the Eye of Malroth again to go upstairs, even though there's no stairs there. And now we're in the tower section of Hargon's castle. We're on our way to the final battle, but Hargon has, just like Dracula, has 3 extremely powerful minions before us.
But before that, this floor actually has regular random encounters. But this is a lot so regular encounter.
Whoa.
The odds of this fight are probably about 1 in 1,000 or less.
I never even knew this was an encounter group until I saw the task a few days ago.
I don't think I did until I saw this crazy video on Nico Nico that of the Japanese version that got this encounter. I was kind of like, whoa, can I do that in the US version?
4,411 experience points.
Quite a bit, yeah. So we got 5 of them, and it's not a coincidence that there are only metal babbles, because the metal babbles will just run away, or we can tank them. If we got another enemy there, it would have been something super powerful that we wouldn't have wanted to deal with. And it's also not a coincidence that we let 2 of them run away. The reason is because the number of enemies in the battle initially gives you, when there's more than 1 enemy, you get an experience bonus. And that experience bonus applies to all the ones that you beat. So the 2 that ran away were essentially worth a 20% bonus on the enemies that we did kill.
Yeah, it's 10% per extra enemy beyond the first.
Oh, and you've got just as much
That's right,
experience
yeah.
as you need. Killing
Now,
more wouldn't help you.
In cases where enemies summon more enemies, that doesn't count for the bonus. It's only the initial enemies that show up in the fight.
Oh, Atlas did not see these. Only got 1 eye.
Yeah, once again, we...
This guy's probably the scariest of the 3 bosses. He's extremely powerful. Even if we had max HP, he'd one-shot us for sure. So we needed that ambush in order to, and then to outspeed him on turn 2, just take him down in 2 excellent moves.
On the other hand, there's no random encounters on these top 3 floors. So you only have to worry, once you get to this point, you only have to worry about these fights, so...
Oh, goes for sleep. Well, you should know, Bazuzu, that's not going to work on TASBot.
TASBot's not falling asleep. Machines don't sleep.
Yeah. Diener will prove that in his run, too. Attack bots are immune to sleep. 1 more mini-boss on the way. Our big chunky friend, Zarlox, who is also a spellcaster. Oh yeah, we're going to see him use Increase. I laughed when I saw the Evil Clown use Increase to boost his defense power by 2.
Oh,
Which doesn't matter when we're critical hitting anyway.
He's getting the critical hits.
This
Yeah,
game's gotta
that's
be
bad. It's
the
nothing.
worst example I know of completely useless buff and debuff spells.
So everything, no enemy can have any more than 255 HP. The internal code doesn't allow for anything more. And so with 2 crits, we can easily dispatch anything. Problem is, the final boss will not allow us to crit him.
Yeah, immune to crits.
Now Hargon himself, he's so easy that we don't even need to get 2 crits. We can just get a regular attack for a second one and save a few frames of wind up for a crit.
Zarlox got us just enough experience to barely scrape level 14 and get +4 attack power right before the end, so that'll help a lot for whittling away at the final boss here.
Yep, it's time for the final showdown.
That's right.
We got 1 guy alive with 9 HP. What do you think our odds are? I think we got this.
Never tell TASBot the odds.
Yeah.
So,
Here's Malroth. He wants his eye back.
yeah, as we said, he can't. He's not allowed. We're not allowed to get crits. So it was really useful to get that extra level up from all these slimes, and since the odds of everything are so low, it was actually a little better to take a couple extra turns, and instead of trying to manipulate like the highest damage possible hit every time, we take, some hits are a little bit lower, and then that way we can actually just move through the battle a little
I
faster.
should point out Malroth's moveset includes breathing like scorching, blazing fire that would hit everyone for about
That's right.
60. He can cast Heal All and heal himself back to 255
Yeah.
HP, but we spawned him with minimum hit dice of about 189 HP, and we're getting him to do a normal attack about 1 in 4 and rolling like the 1% dodge chance each time.
Yes.
I think our odds of this working are approaching levels of scientific notation.
Yeah, so in fact, like the odds for him, just the odds for him to attack are only 1 in 4. He really wants to use his breath or use his heal all the time, and so we've got to manipulate that first. Then we've got to get
Wow.
his attack, then get his dodge.
That
So-
was quite an impressive fight.
And even the
Yeah.
cutscene where Malroth appears has some randomness with like which tiles get cracked, but didn't have to bother rolling for those. Oh, it's that wing that we gave Lars.
That's right.
TASBot, Galaxy Brain, once again.
So we're not actually completely over until we get back to the king to report our feat, I guess.
Yep.
And but we had these wings saved up just for this occasion. And so we just take the ship here and we'll just sail right to Maidenhall, or maybe somewhere else. Maybe instead of Maidenhall, we'll just go down to this tropical island and have a little vacation for our end, and
I think we deserved it.
that's right.
Oh yeah, this little shrine by Zahan. You can walk into this portal in Maidenhall and go like, oh wow, this game has portals now. Oh, there's a town that I can access once I have a boat. So you get kind of excited to play the game, but we're just going to use it to get home real quick from our journey. All right, time is coming up after the last dialogue box. What's the last line of dialogue again? And now peace returned.
Then peace returned.
That's the last A button input necessary to roll the credits. Three cheers! Hip hip hooray! Time. Yes. Good job, TASBot. An excellent task, TheAxeMan. This was very
Yeah.
artful and beautifully
Thank
done.
you. Yeah,
Yeah, that was really exciting.
Yeah. Making tasks is it's definitely a technical feat. I disassembled a lot of the RNGs and algorithms here. I had to make sure that it worked with TASBot. Some games just kind of get this desyncs. I had a lot of like Lua scripting that kind of like went through over, but I couldn't figure out exactly like when the RNG gets so crazy and there's so many different things and I can't just figure it out, then I brute force it. I use RNG Lua script that just sort of does it over and over again. So
Looks
that was
for
how
the
I did
best average
Malroth.
outcome, yeah.
Yeah, it would have taken a long time to find.
Yeah,
all
TAS
these
needs a lot of
by
work.
hand.
I think the re-record count on TASVideos.org was almost 204,000, but it wasn't done manually. It was done with Lua scripting to look into the future and look for the best overall outcome that's the fewest amount of frames.
That's right, yeah. So I think the credits for specifically for bringing TASBot here, I think the credits should probably start with Dwango AC, the creator and keeper of TASBot. He usually comes. He really wanted to come here. He's had some things come up. So yeah, we had a lot of fun doing this.
Love the credits music in this one, by the way. I think it's one of the best in the series.
We might hear it again.
Oh, well, hey guys, I got one more donation for you, specifically $50 from Evil Ash 25.
Yes.
Loving the even as always, and especially the Dragon Warrior 2 task. Sorry I couldn't be there to help commentate. Shoutouts to the wonderful Dragon Quest community, and good luck to some Diener in the Dragon Warrior 2 run.
Yeah, thank you.
Donating to name the often dead Prince Canuck as Box.
Box. Good one.
The
Yeah.
box strinkens.
Yeah, thanks, Ash.
Yeah, another Dragon Quest
Thanks
runner.
guys so much for the run. That was a lot of fun.
Thank you.
No, you're very welcome. It was great commentating for TASBot once again.
Yeah. Thanks you guys for showing up. This was a lot of fun. I want to thank everyone at RPG Limit Break here for having TASBot again, and really treating him well here. He's been having a lot of fun sitting here in the stream room watching everything. He's got we've got his eyes here. He's become very expressive.
I was going to put in the feature request to have his eyes say GG on the last input.
That would be cool. Yeah, well, maybe we'll have to ask some of our guys programming that.
Yeah, get on it, Dwango.
Let's see. Who else? I've got to give a shout out to my family for letting me come here. My son, the Hatchet Boy. You know, I normally I stream with him every once in a while. I got him into RPGs, so it's a little
Perfect.
past his bedtime now, but he'll probably watch this. Anything from you guys?
I think that's going to do it for me.
Yeah, no, just thanks for having me, and it was really, really exciting.
All right, and so the home for task videos, again, taskvideos.org. For TASBot, we have a TASBot Discord, TASBot, discord.gg/TASBot. And yeah, so if anyone's interested in getting into tool-assisted speedrunning, it's easier than you think, and we'd love to help you out.
Awesome.
So if that's it, I think we're all done for TASBot tonight.
We got one last donation for your guys' run from Sunny. It's a $25 donation. It says, "Wit and courage have served thee well. Thou hast rent asunder the laws of reality to win the game." We have a $250 anonymous donation. It says, "Good luck, Bing, for Bing Chang's run that's coming up next year." And $25 from Prof NES with no comment. A $50 donation from My Hero Zero that also has no comment. And a $20 donation from Anonymous. Thank you all so much for your donations. We're going to be setting up now for Bing Chang's run of Quest 64 US any %. It's going to be absolutely amazing. I want you to envision the greatest duo you've ever heard of. You know, Drake or Josh, Han Solo, Chewbacca, Simon and Garfunkel, and know that Bing Chang and Professor Palmer are going to outdo them in every metric because it is going to be an amazing trip together. So get excited for this group that's coming up next with Quest 64. Yep, sure. We're going to take a little break here while we set up for the next run, and we'll be back shortly. All right, welcome back to RPG Limit Break 2022. We proudly support the National Alliance on Mental Illness, also known as NAMI, to get involved in the fight against mental illness and the stigmas it can bring. Reach out to NAMI via their state organizations or on Facebook, where they can be found as NAMI, on Instagram and Twitter as at NAMI Communicate. It is not a weakness to help. Please reach out if you think you need it. We are going to be getting set up here for our next run, which will feature Bing Chang running Quest 64, the US Any Percent category. He'll be joined alongside with the Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles Crystal Bearers legend Professor Palmer on the mic, and it is going to be a fantastic time. In the meantime, for that run, we have met quite a few of our incentives. Both of the bonus fights have now been met, and we have just one incentive left that we are trying to finish off at the end of the Quest 64 run, where Bing will show off several entertaining ways to crash the game with a bunch of glitches, and we are a little less than $300 away from fulfilling that. Following the Quest 64 run, we're going to have the Dragon Warrior 2 run that will be on the Game Boy Color, and there are a number of naming incentives and an option to have the final song sung as well for that. So get your donations in. Thank you very much. Got a couple of donations coming in here. We got a $25 donation from Miria that just says meow. Thank you so much. And $100 from Miles the Wolfman that says, this is to crash Quest 64, the most blurst N64 John. I got you, Mutsky. Thank you so much, Miles, and I'm glad and appreciate your use of the word John like an absolute hero. Thank you so much for the donations, guys.